Hi Dennis Bulldogs, it's Mrs. Johnson, your school counselor, and today I'm going to be making a random video because it's Wednesday, and since today is Earth Day, happy Earth Day, I thought that I would talk about a few tips that I think are helpful for you and your family. So I have a little bit of a cheat sheet here that I'll be looking off of, just talking about some tips that I think that you could do to help protect our Earth. And I think it's really important that we talk about this because we need to leave the earth better than we found it, and that's our responsibility. And I don't want you to become overwhelmed with all the tips and feel like you need to do them all at one time. Even just doing one can help you reduce your carbon footprint, and that's something I'll have posted down below, a way that you can see how well you're doing in protecting the earth. So I also just want to mention I'm on my sun porch again today because it's such a nice day out. That's my dog sneezing. And so you might hear some of the noises of traffic, or you might hear my dog. She may make an appearance in this video, but anyways, I hope that you're able to get outside and spend some time in this beautiful weather. I think it's supposed to rain the next couple of days, so get some of that sun. Also, if I talk with my hands at all, you'll notice I have some paint and dye on my hands, so I've been doing a lot of painting and a lot of tie-dyeing. So I hope you've been able to express yourself in a creative way while we've been at home. So let's go ahead and get started on some tips. So our first tip, this is my dog Ladybug. She wanted to be in the picture apparently, or in the video I mean. So the first tip is to turn off the lights. So it's important that whenever we're not using a certain room or we don't need lights on, that we're turning them off as we're leaving that room. This will help reduce your electricity usage, and also will reduce your bill. So whoever you live with will probably be happy that you're doing that and reducing and doing your part for the environment and also for the household. The second tip that I have is to turn off the water. So for example, if you are brushing your teeth and you wet your toothbrush and then you're brushing them and you're leaving the water running, you're really wasting water. So it's important that you shut that off and do your part to reduce your water usage. We're actually really lucky to have running water in our homes, clean water that we can use. So just make sure that you're remaining grateful and that you're using it and conserving it as you can. Another one would be to plant flowers or trees, and that may be hard to do right now since we're all self-quarantining, but if that ever becomes an option or something you're able to do, I think it's really a great way to give back to our earth. And as you know, and I hope you've learned in science, that our plants and our flowers and our trees really provide a great service to us and are very important to keep the planet going. So that would be a really cool thing. If you happen to do that, please let me know, or let me know if you find any of these tips helpful or if you decide to try any of them out. So the next one would be to clean up a forest, a park, or just your yard. So sometimes stray trash, especially if you live in town, comes through and it happens to be in your yard, and it belongs in a trash bin or recycling bin so it can go to the proper place. So if you decide, make sure you have permission, of course. Sorry. Anyway, make sure you have permission, of course, but you could go and help clean the park or just clean your yard. I mean, that's something easy we can do, and we're able to do that right now. It would be a safe thing as long as you have permission, as I said. I think that the early college students do this, and I don't know if they do it every year, but I know that they went to the park and cleaned up, so that's really cool, and good job. You're already doing something to help our earth. Another one would be feed the animals, and I want to read this to you because I actually learned something that I didn't know. It says the feeding the animals in your backyard or at a local pond is a great way to feel like you are taking care of the planet and giving back. The person doing it will love it, and it makes the animals happy too. Make a bird feeder or leave some fruit out on the branches of trees for rabbits and squirrels. Just keep in mind the proper food for animals. So for instance, which this is something I did not know, bread and ducks shouldn't go together. So you should not be giving, if you go to the pond at the park at some point at Glen Miller, you shouldn't be giving them bread. And I didn't realize that. I've never done it before, but I just thought that that's what you did. So it says, but you can feed them corn instead. So I thought that was really interesting. So that's just an easy Google search to make sure you're doing the right thing and giving the animal the right food. The next tip is to use reusable bags at the store. So plastic bags and single-use plastic that is non-compostable will stay on this earth, at least from what I've researched and what I understand, stays on the earth for 250 years. So that really makes you think about, or at least makes me think about, those single-use plastics that we get and how it's going to impact our earth, and where is all this, trash and plastic going to be, and where is it going? So like I mentioned, because of the coronavirus, we probably aren't allowed to use reusable bags at the stores right now, but eventually we will be able to, and it really helps out. You could go car free. So if you walk or ride your bike to like the park or the store, make sure you have permission, of course, but those types of things help because it's not using the pollution our cars give off into the environment and the air, and so it's protecting the earth. So that would be a really great way. So if you already walk to school, you're doing something great for the environment. You might not have even known it. Another one is make sculptures or usable things from junk. So this is really cool, and there's a lot of great inspirational ideas online, or artists who have used scrap materials to create really beautiful pieces of art using little things. So for example, during this quarantine, I thought about buying mason jars, some of the bigger ones to use for glasses, and I started to look around to see what I already had, and I noticed that we had a pickle jar that was almost out of pickles. So once it was, I cleaned it out and took off the label and put like a little decal on it that I made with my Cricut, and now I have a new jar and I didn't have to buy anything new, and I used something that is now not going to go into a landfill. So that's an easy one. Just look at the things that you have around that you might have been throwing away. Another one is recycle old cell phones. So it says, how many old cell phones do you have sitting around? Recycling them helps to prevent air and water pollution that often occurs during manufacturing. So there are a lot of places that will actually take your cell phone and recycle it for you. Some of them will give you money for it, some of them won't, but it's better than them going to a landfill and lasting years, hundreds of years. And you can do things, it says here that there are things that you can do, like sometimes people use them to make jewelry or other electronics or in automotive manufacturing. So recycling that item, I think that's really cool. Okay, and so our next one is use glass bottles. So sorry, my dog is like really into this video. She loves the earth, huh? Do you love the earth? So use glass bottles. While plastic seems easier, glass bottles have become a very viable option for people recently. So instead of now it's good to use a recyclable like water bottle. So that's something that actually isn't on this list that I think is important to say. So with the Visco Girl trend, those reusable water bottles seem to become really popular, but they're important for a lot of reasons, and you don't have to have a fancy one with stickers for it to be good for the environment. So I know that there are lots of different options as far as a reusable water bottle goes. You can even get one from the Dollar Tree, which I love, by the way, or you could even do one better for the earth and get one at the thrift store. So I found some really cool glass ones that were probably $30 at the store that I got for $1.99 that somebody decided to get rid of. I cleaned it, it was fine, and so now I am doing something good for the earth by using using a reusable water bottle, but I also thrifted it. So actually I know that Mr. Cox uses a reusable water bottle, and I believe he uses a Voss bottle, which is a brand of water you can get from the store, and they usually use glass bottles, and he's reused that. I don't know how long he's used it. We'll have to ask him. But I know that he does that, and that's really great for the environment. So good job, Mr. Cox. Another one here is take shorter showers. So it says, I know the benefits of taking a long hot shower, but there's long-term benefits for the planet when you limit your shower or don't fill your bathtub as high. According to Boston University, the average American uses 25,300 gallons of water a year. Wow. So just think about 25,300, like the gallons of milk. I don't buy gallons of water, but maybe you do. But if you don't, gallons of milk, that's crazy, a year. Just one person. That's more than 69 gallons daily, and an average shower can use 5 gallons of water per minute. So that's really important. And so maybe I'm someone who does like long showers, I'm not going to lie. So maybe you're somebody who does like them. Maybe 6 days, or well, maybe you are showering every day, but maybe just reducing the amount. So maybe you treat yourself to one longer shower, and then you have the shorter ones, or, whatever you decide works for you. Any time cut off from your showering is beneficial for the earth. So whatever you're able to do and can do. Another one is unplug. And it says, I don't mean to just disconnect your life from your devices. I mean literally unplug things from the wall. Most appliances and devices are still using energy whether they're flipped on or not. So this is one that I think is important. So like I have my coffee maker out on my counter, but I don't leave it plugged in all the time. And this can also help reduce your bill again with the electricity bill that I mentioned earlier. So there's lots of different things you can do. Like I said, I don't want to overwhelm you because no one is perfect. No one is going to be able to do all of these things, but it's worth it if you just try. And so, in my opinion, every day is Earth Day. We want to leave the earth better than we found it, like I mentioned. And it's important that we really do our part. It doesn't matter how young you are or how old you are. We can all do something to help our earth and to leave it in better condition. So, with that being said, I hope that you find some tips that are useful, or you learn something new that you didn't realize. And I am sending you all of my love. I hope you are doing okay. I miss you guys a lot, and I hope to see you soon. See ya.